Uh-oh. Alrighty, so behind me I've got the Mark II and Mark III builds. Now I have swapped the fuel tanks over on both bikes. Having the smaller tank on this bike has solved the immediate issue of the fuel line getting too close to the engine and melting. I've got no excuse for the way that looks, don't judge me. But it did raise another issue. When it was on that bike and the tank fell to the side, a whole heap of fuel came spilling out of the top there. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to create a new gasket out of some old inner tube, and basically all we're going to do is we're going to cut a hole to fit snugly around there, because that little gasket evidently is a bit rubbish. So I'm hoping that by doing this I can help stop fuel leaking out if that happens to move again. Alright, so with my texture there, I've just roughly traced out the shape of here. Now we want to be cutting on the inside of that circle. You want it to be tight, you want the rubber to stretch a bit. If there's any gaps, it's going to leak, and that means it's not going to do the job that we want it to. Alright, so as we can see there, making that hole a little bit smaller than what it needs, I think we've got a fairly reasonable seal happening around there. So now what we'll do is we'll just go and trim around here to neaten it up. I could leave it like that if I so desired, but I want it to look a little bit neat. Right, there we have it. Now, theoretically, that should create a nice tight seal. But there's only one way I'm going to be able to test this. And that is by filling the tank right up and tipping it over. Well, our tank is now very full, so we'll go put our new gasket sealed, or rubber sealed cap on. Now, in order to test this, we're just going to tip the bike over and we're going to watch for drips. Alright, excuse my camera work here. Now we are getting a very, very slow drip out the top. But that's nothing compared to the torrent that was coming out. That is a full tank lying on its side, barely leaking. Now, in order for this to be a fair comparison, it would only be fair if we take one that I haven't modified yet. To compare it and see. This is the difference it makes. All right. Now I just wonder if there's a way I could create a better seal, probably by using an actual cutting tool instead of just scissors. Let's put this one back on. Let's lay the bike down again. And now it's not doing anything. Uh-oh. Well, my design worked in theory, but I'm still getting significant leakage. So, back to the drawing board, we'll try again. This time I've tried something a bit different. I've put my inner tube rubber underneath the existing gasket. I guess that's acting as a bit like a spacer. Alright, let's give this a go. And we're leaking. Right. So this idea hasn't worked for me yet, but I've got a few more things to try and plenty of spare tube. Righty, I'm hoping that this design has a bit more success. It's basically the same as what I did before, but we'll have to see how we go. There we go. Look, it's not perfect by any means. But certainly better than what it was. Alright, I am definitely going to have to go back to the drawing board for this one. The real thing is just try and make sure that your fuel tanks aren't this loose and wobbly. I run the risk, but that's my choice to do so. But at least, you know, that's going to stop most of your fuel from flying out if you're riding along and this does happen to you. When it happened to me, it was pouring out. That's not the seal that I was hoping it was, but at least until I can find out a better way of doing it, I'm pretty happy to leave that on because it is still better than what it was without the extra rubber in there.